Okay, guys, what we're talking today is we have a lot of patients that when we discuss functional medicine, we try to assist people not only symptomatically, but the treatment protocols are sometimes global. But many times these treatments that we offer are very unique to what we do in our practice. So we sometimes like to showcase a product that we like to use specifically for certain things. These are things that are out there. Again, it's very important to understand. This is a review from our perspective. However, everybody should evaluate and be evaluated by their own physician before ever trying to treat anything that is outside of their understanding, first of all. Second of all, it's very important that this is my understanding of what's going on with this particular product and what I've seen happen with a clinical case, or sometimes even in case series. So today we're going to be talking about brain fog and try to understand what it is. So we have a lot of disorders from Parkinson, Alzheimer's to cerebral diminished function that we can matter with. We realize that the human mind, though it's not a physical thing, is composed of a lot of components. Let's say primary 5 things. The mind is made of your memory. Your memory is part of your mind. The intelligence, which is what we get in school, which is what we learn, okay? Then we have another part of the mind, and you can make your intelligence better as time goes on. So the other part of the mind, the third component, is your creativity. The creativity, the things that make you creative to be able to solve problems and to be able to kind of mitigate issues as they happen. So the other part of the mind is the ability for the brain to have will and desire, the gancho, las ganas, the perrenque, the thing that you can do, the get up and go. The other and final part of the mind is a level that is not sometimes seen. It's called intuitive sense, okay? And that develops over time. So when someone says that you're losing your mind, you may be losing your memory, you may be losing your intelligence, you just can't grasp ideas. You may be losing your creativity, you may be losing your will and desire, and you may get hit by just the door and never have intuitions with everything that happens. So part of your mind has been a complex issue and dynamics that is beyond the scope of even most neurosurgeons. You could put many neurosurgeons in a room and say, what is intelligence? And many of them don't have an understanding other than we understand that it is a conglomeration of an expression of how the brain functions. Now, there are types of products that we know out there that we have at our disposal. College students know that caffeine is one of those big, what they call a new line process called nootropics, nootropics, which are things that enhance the brain's function. So one of those nootropics in caffeine is something that limits circulation and your distal extremities and you're away from your center core and opens central circulation, which allows more oxygen to occur. However, there are things that we have learned that not only help with oxygenation, but can also help with actually, and through studies, a little bit more of the function. The product that we have here displayed here is Percepta. And one of the things that I want to bring here, we have a team, we have Kenna, Vaughn, who's our senior health coach, and Ana Paola Rodriguez Arciniega, who can actually talk about a little bit of the products and the substrates that are actually making up this component. Now, there's lots of patents and issues, and that's not what my point is here to get involved with. It's to bring in the positives that I have seen as a result of this particular product. So, Ana, take it away a little bit about the product. If you need to take the screen, go ahead and do that and present your side of things as we go. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah, and it's very important that we'll be sharing screen back and forth, and you'll see the screen as it propels in different directions. That's cool modern technology of Zoomology 101.
Yes. So as you said before, all of the intelligence and all of our brain cognition and our brain function can be like separated in a few factors like memory, mood, motivation, creativity, attention, focus, and cognition and learning. So actually, nootropics was a term it's like you can divide it in 2 words. New, that means mind, and nootropics, that means function. So yes, it's like a whole new level of investigation right here. So You were talking specifically about this product that is called Percepta. So Percepta is actually a product that is made out of two main components. That is cat's claw and a combination of many teas. So as you said before, the caffeine that coffee has tends to have like this function that it actually can vasodilate all of your can actually perfuse a lot of blood into your brain and can leave the circulation out of your body. So that is amazing. But we want to start with cat's claw right here. That is actually a Peruvian plant. So it has like kind of horns or kind of thorns that are like cod claw. So that is why it's called cod claw. And it's actually very, very proliferous in Peru, and it has been used in a lot of different settings about as an antioxidant and as a powerful plaque and tangle reducing activity. And this is what we want to talk about, the fact that Percepta has like this statistical activity on the patients who are taking this product. So you said you've taken it before, isn't
yes.
it?
As a matter of fact, as we age, I think that most of us probably suffer from a moment of time where we're absent-minded. And what's really interesting is that as we get older, we do tend to remember how our brain used to function. So we end up being in our 50s and later 60s, and hopefully we can get to 100, each one of us. But as we go through the process, we start noticing that the ability to grasp the concepts, we think them in our frontal cortex. We have seen through people who have had strokes that from the frontal cortex to the Wernicke to the Broca area, which is the thing that propels words and allows us to comprehend, the connections sometimes diminish as time goes on. Some people have an amazing thing. You'll see people have amazing frontal cortex to Wernicke and Broca area motor actions. They're extremely intelligent, and they seem that way. And you'll see them on Jeopardy when they can react real quickly. But sometimes just remembering where the keys are that are in your hand, or the let's say the glasses that you can't find that are on your forehead. So there are simple things that starts affecting us, and we start noticing that our brain really has a limitation of its function. Now we turn to nootropics in our own way, from a tea to green teas to coffees to Cokes to different things to try to amp our system up.
Yeah, even creatinine is like a very known nootropic, and we actually use it to enhance our ability to perform sports, or either to lift or to diminish the sense of exhaustion after a workout. But it actually has a lot to do with neural function, and it's an amazing nootropic. So there are actually a lot of nootropics all around the world, and this particularly was one that was found in South America. So this is like one of them, but you can actually name like a lot of them.
Yeah, and what we learn is that as we assess these dynamics, the importance of understanding that when a nootropic affects not only circulation, but now we're getting into the world where there's neuroplasticity, okay, of the brain to be able to adapt. We're learning that inflammation has a direct effect of how the astrocytes and the microglia cells interact by producing certain neurotransmitters like GABA, which are necessary, but sometimes too much. So we're learning that that dietary changes can cause an improvement in thinking processes. So when we run into a product that what we enjoy is to learn about and test it, and you see people discussing it, we like to present it to you. So this particular Percepta is a product that has certain, issues. But you mentioned here, I noticed that you talk about its antioxidant capacities and NF-kappa B pathways. Tell me a little bit more about that, Ana.
Oh, well, this was actually a study performed, but it was like a very important study, and they actually found that it could provide protection against oxidative stress because it would actually inhibit the NF-kappa beta pathway. And as we know, this main pathway is the one that is going to procure all of the pro-inflammatory cytokines to be all over the place. So that would actually produce a little bit more of neuroinflammation. So by including this particular supplement or this particular nootropic that we're talking about, we can see a lot of protection against this reactive oxygen species and protection against pro-inflammatory markers. So this is what they found in this study.
We noticed that, and what's important to depict that's different about this, it's not just a stimulant. It actually, we have a study here that actually represents the fact that it actually shows a change in the molecular component of how the brain is interweaved. We know that amygdaloid plaques specifically collect in disorders like, Alzheimer's, and in these disorders, we sometimes we can't see these on MRI unless we do a biopsy and we can actually see those plaques. Sometimes the plaques get so intense that you can identify areas of the brain that stop functioning. So one of the things that neurologists notice is you can do an MRI, especially a functional MRI, and see overall function with different colors. But one of the most important components is when a brain stops functioning well or has, let's say, a lack of functioning, it actually shrinks. The frontal cortex shrinks. And you'll notice that the actual physiology, the anatomy of the brain changes. So we've learned that the adaptation processes or the, degradation of the brain is very well known to cause actually presenting symptoms and deficiencies. I'm going to take the screen for a second here, Ana, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can actually see what I'm talking about on my side. Yeah. So in terms of this product, you can actually see that you will be able to notice that there is molecular changes that occur in these studies. So when you see these, sometimes within a few days, you can actually notice the changes in the dynamics of an individual. So what we have been able to try is test this product. And before I do anything like that, I want to see if this thing works, because I want to see if I can actually hook thoughts and ideas that sometimes just jeopardy.
Just can't seem to find it. Yeah, it's like the equation word that I was looking at. Yeah.
That. So I got to tell you, it works. So I got to tell you, without side effects that inhibit my ability to sleep, without the side effects that can get into causing a little bit of negative presentations in the effect, or many times you take these products and you have a down as a result. So in my perspective, I want you to know that I will be investigating this product much more, but it is a new game player. I've put the list, put the insights, and I put the links of it so that my patients can start looking at that. And as I learn and as I do more research, we may be able to get some of the actually developers of this product to actually come out and discuss their particular products, because it's important that they explain what it is that the laboratory. Now, I will tell you this, the NCBI, which is where a PubMed researcher area, is a place where things are reported and we see studies coming out. But sometimes that's the cutting edge that we got, and that's as far as we can go. But to talk to the professors and the doctors that are actually with the beakers and actually seeing the clinical effects, prior to the studies that are presented, that becomes a critical component. So we look forward to bring those individuals here for you so that we can actually discuss what is up and coming so that we can help individuals that have disorders such as early stage Alzheimer's, early stage dementia, and or maybe brain atrophy, that we can assist in those processes. Again, this is a neurological subject matter that is a very contested and very much a heated area because we want to help the ones we love. We want to help ourselves in this process. So by no means am I indicating that this is a cure-all, but it is an option that you can do because neurotropics have a pharmaceutical world. They also have a supplemental world. They also have nutraceuticals, and we can also go into the area of individuals. We can find out if certain people are predisposed to Alzheimer's by just certain genetic coding in certain SNPs, whether the homozygous, heterogeneous, or even the wild type of presentation in the genomes. So nutrigenomics plays an important role in terms of describing and helping people to kind of navigate their own normal natural genomics. So as part of that, dietary changes are very important, nutritional things, and everything we put in this hole in our mouth is going to be very critical in determining the frontal cortex function. So I hope I leave it there. Ana, I know you wanted to mention some other things. Go ahead.
Oh, you were talking about nutritional assessments, and we have to dig a little bit more into that because actually microbiome and its diversity can actually affect a lot of things of our neurocognition. So you might want to talk about, or we might mention it, because LPS or lipopolysaccharides play like a very important role in neuroinflammation, and it actually play like a very important role in the blood barrier and blood-brain barrier. So, and its permeability. So something that you might want to know of how this works is that this particular PTI 00703, a patent that this doctor discovered, and actually he kind of harvested, actually can cross the blood-brain barrier. And that's like a very important thing to have in antioxidants such as cod claw or even curcumin or green tea compounds. So that is like very important. We must preserve the permeability of all of our barriers, even if they are, well, first and most important, blood-brain barrier, and of course the digestive tract. That is like a very important thing to say.
When we see cognition, when we see it being affected by the gastric biome, we see that prolonged inflammatory states of the colon. We hear words called like leaky gut and understand the dynamics of what leaky gut is. We see the pro-inflammatory effects leaking into areas of the brain and cross, as you indicated. That is
affecting the microglia.
The microglial cells, which affect the astrocytes. So what we see here is we see the world is changing, and one of the components of it is a symptom, and the symptom is brain fog, and we're lost. And in essence, we sometimes have to look at the symptom and understand that may guide us in the direction of the overall dynamics or the area of body that is being affected. So what we want to do, Ana and I, and Kenna, and Kenna had to leave because she had a little emergency. So what we want to do is we want to present this product in a much more elaborate way and the studies in a more dynamic way. So we wanted to present the product because I do believe that once we find something that is useful and it's changing people's lives, we have not only a level of obligation to expose what it is, but bring to light the positives. And bring it to life. Exactly, and things that make it happen. So I want to thank you guys. We're going to look back, and I think you have plenty of there to find it on the internet. And if you have questions on it, I'm willing to go ahead to talk to the doctor. And I can only tell you that I may be talking to Dr. Snow very soon. Dr. Snow. Because we need to figure out what's going on here. And I need him to kind of explain to my peeps what's actually happened individually. And that would be the closest we can do before the studies actually get on paper. So if we can do that for you and present it to you, we're knocking it out of the ballpark. like a out of the ballpark. So I hope that makes sense. So Ana, thank you very much. I wish you the best, and we will meet you guys back here on the following one next week. You guys have a blessed day and enjoy yourselves. God bless. Thank you, Ana.